Hi guys, today I have a game for you. It's a game between two grandmasters. This game demonstrates how white players can crush the Pirc defense. So it starts off with d4. Actually, it starts off with e4, but it's gonna transpose after d6, e4. And this is the Pirc with knight f6, knight c3, c6, and f4. So here the idea is usually b5 with this is the kind of setup black is targeting, and white is going a bit aggressive and he's targeting for e5 and this break. So because white has a space advantage on the king side, so um, he would be trying to attack on the king side, whereas black would start getting space on the queen side, and he would try to run his pawns on the queen side and gain attack there. So g6, knight f3, bishop g7, bishop d3, all standard moves, just normal development. Castles. Here bishop g4, not the most popular move, probably b5 is more commonly seen these days, with e5, knight e8, and then queen e1. The idea is usually to go queen f4, queen h4, and have some attacking ideas after knight e4. For example, I'm pushing f5. So an example could be after b4, knight e4, if a5, and usually this bishop's quite a strong attacker, so they might want to trade off the bishops. But here the issue is after queen h4, bishop a6. Here there's a very strong move that white can play, so I'd like you to pause the video and try to figure it out. So the best move white can play over here is f5, after which black has few moves. One is to take the pawn and the other one is to take the bishop. These are like the two main moves. So if black decides to take with the pawn, then obviously you go knight g5, attack the threatening mate right now, and h6, and I would like you guys to pause the video again and try to find the best move here. So here white would want to play e6, a very strong move, attacking the pawn over here and inviting black to capture, after which he's simply gonna recapture, and the threat of checkmate is renewed. Taking here could lead to disasters with knight e6, forking everything, forking the king and the rook, or the queen and the rook, and the bishop. This pawn is weak, this pawn is weak, this bishop's becoming strong, this knight's gonna jump in, the queen is attacking. This should be game over quite fast. So that would be a big issue, and if he takes, then we can just simply take, and if bishop takes d4, which is forced, because if he doesn't, for example, if he takes here, this is checkmate. So he's forced to play bishop takes d4. He's trying to divert the queen. He's sacrificing the bishop, trying to divert the queen from the mating position. So over here, simply if he moves the king, should be difficult. After knight f6, you can exchange and take the pawn, and the idea is basically you would grab here and come over and try to checkmate. So take with a knight, and now your threat is to come here. So if rook h8 is played, well, here there's a mating threat, a checkmating threat, that's queen h6 or rook g5. So in order to create a fleeing square, black might play rook h8, and here rook g5, and you take the rook, and this should be checkmate. So quite an advanced level trap, but obviously black has ways to avoid this, by just simply probably not even um, playing bishop a6. Instead, he could, over here he could go for something like f5, after which the position should be fine. H5, which this is also quite complex after d5, but b4, but still playable for both sides. So back to the game. The bishop g4 was played in the game, and not the main line, I think, but it's this is also the second most popular move. h3, attacking the bishop. Now asking the bishop for the trade-off, because black wants to trade off this bishop because he's gonna place all of his pawns on dark squares, to gain initiative on the queen side. So here's a capture and queen b6, attacking the b2 pawn, knight d2, and the idea is to probably stabilize the center and probably maneuver the knight to f4 for attacking chances. And now c3 takes. Now as you can see, white has established a very strong center, and all he needs to do is lock the queen side so that black doesn't get too much counterplay on the king side and attack on the king side with probably like g4 and have a strong king side attack. So over here black played e5, challenging the center. White plays bishop e3, developing his bishop, sacrificing the b2 pawn. Here the pawn on f4 was captured, queen takes and knight a6. So if the pawn were to be captured here, well, the problem is the initiative that white gains after something like rook b1, for example. Now the queen isn't that well placed here. Oh, one sec, not here. Probably here you should first play rook b3. Obviously don't blunder and take the pawn right away because you're hanging your bishop. So first play here, then when he moves to a5 or something, then you can capture the pawn. And here I think white has the advantage because his rook is kind of active and his pieces are just in general better placed. This rook is doing nothing and this knight is quite weak. So there's a trade, and knight e6 trying to get the knight out and finish his development. a3 and b4 to close the queen side. Queen f3, d5 and e5. Now the center is closed and white has more space, as we can see, and now he would try to use the space advantage by attacking the king side. So knight f4 is a good move, attacking the d5 pawn, and also probably trying to sacrifice itself and move to f6 in order to gain some advantage. King moves away, stepping out of this diagonal, and knight c6, a strong move, attacking the pawn on d4. Now knight h5. The purpose is, if you take, you have a very strong move by white, which is queen f5, threatening checkmate here. So only move is to defend is f6. After f6, white can just take, and he's winning in all possibilities here. This is winning, this is winning. Pretty sure also this is winning. So every move is winning here because there's not much white can, well, there's not much black can do over here to save his position. White is just completely dominating. So that was the plan. However, his opponent's also quite strong. He sees it and he plays a very good move, knight e6, furthering the pressure on the d4 pawn, the backbone of the pawn structure. If the d4 pawn falls, then the e5 pawn is most likely to fall, and black would have a huge advantage. Well, white ignores this and goes for a kingside attack, so the bishop captures to avoid losing the exchange. And here there are a few moves. Rook c8 was playing the game. I was wondering, here the best move is probably to take the knight with this way, because after bishop h6, probably a strong move, you'd have to go back and okay, you'll be down in exchange, but there's the compensations that this pawn is quite weak over here. The knights are actually well coordinated and the position is still quite playable for black. This move would have lost to this queen f2, and now this pin is quite irritating. And here simply probably rook d1 and bishop b1, and now this is overloaded. If rook c4, then bishop e2 could be, yeah, could be a possibility. And so his opponent decides to go with rook c8, after which rook d1 was played. Queen retreats to a queen retreats to offer the exchange. White declines the exchange since he's in the attack, and now he plays b5 to gain more space on the queen side now, gaining space on both sides, and this is a capture. He sacks the pawn, and now bishop h6, very strong move, attacking the piece that's defending the f7 square. So now he's gonna lose the exchange. However, probably taking won't be that strong, because still white would have, even though he's down in exchange, he would have some compensation, knight with the queenside majority, and knight c4, a6, and probably creating pass pawn in the queenside. Instead, he decides to go for queen f6, trying for a checkmate. Knight b3 and bishop f5, very strong move. The idea is that there's actually no way to escape capturing this knight is going to be captured soon, and you're trying to eliminate the defender of the g7 square, which is the mating square. So here black has few moves. Black can capture here, and the idea is you just take with the rook, and the idea is just to play rook g5, and when the knight captures you would go queen g7 checkmate, and there's no way to stop this checkmate. And that's what happens in the game. After pawn takes, the rook takes, and black resigns, because there's no hope after rook g5. Rook g5 is coming, and there's no way to prevent it. Probably some knight c5 to delay. It maybe still not. No, there isn't no proper way of defending. Yeah, prolonging also. Probably you have to play some computeristic move, but this is all just desperation. Here, another idea could have been moving the knight back and playing some and not taking, probably, and playing queen e4. But because now probably the best move is to play rook g5 still, because he can't take, and because that would lead to mate, so you're forced to defend the queen, and this should be quite simple to convert. You just take, and you have a passer here, and you have a queen for a minor piece. Should be very easy to convert for a grandmaster, or anyone in fact. So after rook takes f5, black resigns. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.